Members, thinking about all Native people and the chronic health conditions that we deal with at such disproportionate levels, compared to other populations. And many of those chronic conditions, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, obesity, arthritis even, can be addressed with clean, healthy food. If people have that resource or have that available to them and can integrate that into their daily lives, they'll see improvements in their health.
Hi, I'm Kimberlie Acosta on IndianCountryTV.com, and we're here on the Shakopee Mdewakanton Sioux Community, and they're working on their organic farm, and we're here with Laura Wetzel. She's a tribal member here. Can you share with us about how you guys got started with the farm?
Sure. Mdewakanton Wozupi was started in the spring of 2010, and it's a natural outgrowth of the tribe's efforts to not only care for our land and our resources, at the same time caring for tribal members. This certified organic garden is grown in ways that nourish the land and give back to the land. That nourishes us, and we have this very nice relationship going. It's an outgrowth of many efforts that the tribe is making recently to do what's right for the earth and for its members.
And what do you guys do after all the vegetables are grown? Where do they go?
Last year, the tribe supported the building of a root cellar. So just to the across the driveway here, there's a nice root cellar, so there are lots of vegetables that are harvested late in the year that are kept there. Potatoes and squash and onions, things like that.
And you guys have a farmer's market where they go and sell the product, and also a store, correct?
Yes, Mdewakanton Wozupi sends produce to Mizopia, which is the tribe's natural food store, and they hold a farmer's market every Thursday morning from 9 to 1, where they bring the produce over and sell outside the store.
How many acres do you guys have here, and how much did you start with?
In the spring of 2010, we started with about an acre and a half, grew out an acre and a half of produce. We had a wonderful year. It was very successful. We've got a wonderful gardener, and we had a wonderful season, so it all came together very well. In fact, last year we did 3 produce sales a week and had great success with that. Now this year we've expanded to nearly 5.5 acres, but about 5 of that is grown in produce. There's always a portion of the garden that's left to kind of regenerate. There are cover crops grown on it that nourish the soil, like I was talking about earlier, and give it time to rest. So about 5 acres right now of organic produce. We also have an organic orchard where we have native fruit trees and shrubs, and this year the introduction of some apple trees. And I think that there's about, Rebecca can correct me on this, but I think that there's about maybe 4 acres that's dedicated to that.
How did you get involved as a tribal member with?
Well, my background is in health, and I had left the tribe for a little while my husband and I, to do our own business venture. And when we came back, it was natural for me to come back into an area of health and working for the tribe. And at that point in my life, I was becoming very aware and more conscious of what I was eating and what those foods contained. Lots of processed foods, lots of refined foods that aren't good for any of us. I was learning more about that and putting together this cause and effect. I was beginning to understand better this cause and effect of what we eat, what it does to us, and thinking about our community members, thinking about all Native people and the chronic health conditions that we deal with at such disproportionate levels, compared to other populations. And many of those chronic conditions, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, obesity, arthritis even, can be addressed with clean, healthy food. If people have that resource or have that available to them and can integrate that into their daily lives, they'll see improvements in their health. One of the ways that our garden grew this year was the development of a TSA program. TSA stands for Tribally Supported Agriculture. It's the same type of program that you may have heard of called CSAs, Community Supported Agriculture. What happens is that people, we offer this to our tribal members and employees at first, and they purchase a share of the garden at the beginning of the season. They make an investment into the garden. And then when things start coming up, or producing, they get a weekly 3/4 bushel box of produce. So in our instance, for 18 weeks, they'll get a weekly delivery of organic produce.
Well, that's really neat. So then that way it encourages them to stay healthy because they've invested into this.
That's right. And we really want to support people utilizing this food, and much of it's new to people. We grow many different varieties here, and much of it new to people. So in addition to getting the weekly delivery, they also can participate in weekly TSA cooking classes where we demonstrate to them how to use some of the vegetables that are in the box.
Do any of them come out here and volunteer their time in the garden?
Yes. Rebecca has scheduled some days for volunteer activity. That's happened, and now we do have a couple people who are coming out on a more regular basis to help in the garden, and we really need help in the garden. It's a big project.
And we have Rebecca here, and we're going to talk to her about the details of the whole gardening process, correct?
That sounds great, yes. Thanks, Kimberlie.
Thank you. With Rebecca Yoshino. She's the gardener here at the Shakopee Mdewakanton Sioux Community's garden. Can you tell us about what kinds of seeds you use and the different products that you guys have planted here?
Well, we have well over 150 different varieties of vegetables, berries, and melons, so I guess fruit. Many of the varieties that we're growing are heirloom seeds or heritage seeds. Some of them were actually gifted to us from a local native nonprofit local to the Twin Cities area called Dream of Wild Health. And they gave us some heritage corn, squash, and bean seeds, which we're growing in our Three Sisters garden. Some of the seeds we save from year to year and replant, and then some of our varieties are hybrid varieties that we purchase from different seed sources.
What makes you certified organic? What do you do?
We have to comply with national organic standards, and we work with a certification agency that comes out every year to make sure that we are abiding by our organic systems plan, which has been pre-approved by this, MOSA is who we're certified through. And what that entails is that we don't use any synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides out here, that we try to source as many of our seeds organic as possible, that we never use treated seeds or GMO seeds, that we use cover crops, have a good soil fertility plan, and crop rotate. So all of our crops we rotate from year to year.
And how many people do you have out here helping you with or do you do it all by yourself?
Thank goodness I don't do it all by myself. We have 2.5 full-time employees here, and then we get additional hours from the land department, which is part of the Shakopee Mdewakanton Sioux Community workforce.
What's your favorite part about being out here gardening?
I love harvesting. I love harvesting beautiful produce and being able to distribute that to the community, so I think that's probably my favorite part.
And what's your favorite crop that you like?
Oh boy. Well, we did harvest sweet corn this week, first harvest of the season, and there's nothing better than fresh sweet corn warmed by the sun, eating it raw out in the fields. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never tried something like that.
Well, you have an opportunity to do that here if you want.
Is there anything else you want to share with us about the importance of organic farming?
I think that it is an incredibly important way to farm. The food is much more healthy for people to consume. The footprint on the earth is a lot less. And it is very important to conserve our soil quality as well for future generations, and that's something that is part of the National Organic Protocol. So,
do you rotate your fields?
We do rotate our fields. We take parts of fields out of production for a season or part of a season. We use compost out here and as many green manure crops as we can. And those are crops that are grown specifically to help feed the soil. So they're grown, we mow them, we till them into the soil, and that basically feeds the soil, its structure, soil structure, and all of the microbial and biological life there.
This is called Temptation, and it is a 65-day sweet corn, so it matures earlier than our other sweet corn varieties, and so the ears don't get as big. It's bicolor, it's white and yellow, and it is incredibly sweet. This we harvested this week for our TSA and for the farmers market, and the raccoons got a little bit of it too, but this is just the leftovers right here. And then this variety right here, it's still a sweet, but it's not quite ready. But look at the size of those ears. This will be ready next week. And this is called Silver King. And it's a white sweet corn, and it is absolutely delicious as well. So hopefully we will get more of this than the raccoons and the worms. No worms in these guys.
That ain't any good. I want a refund.
You want to taste one?
Oh, that's delicious. Yeah,
Oh, it's really good.
Anybody want any more?
I'll take that one. This one. Yeah. An incredibly important way to farm. The food is much more healthy for people to consume. The footprint on the earth is a lot less. And it is very important to conserve our soil quality as well for future generations, and that's something that is part of the National Organic Protocols.